Ducky.
You know, speaking, you know, I'm an elder myself. A lot of our programs, some of the elders tell you, I voted for the young guys because there's a lot many more of those. That's the way your leaders are supposed to be. Take care of your young. Our elders are, what they give us is very fine. What we're doing, we're leaving out the young people's vote, which is probably 2/3 more than what we have sitting in here. That is the right way to do it. They should be here. There is a lot of them that's here. I bet you 90% of them are not here. The vote would change. That is the only way to do it, to be honest with everyone. That was only my ancestors to do it. My Aunt Lucy, all of them. That's the way they did it. They were fair, honest. They took care of their people in the right way. A lot of you guys would have been scolded in session even right now. Val will tell you that, the way you behave. You know, I have respect for a lot of their council in our area. I had respect for a couple in the Spielm area, but this is the lowest. I have respect for the council since I've been associated with them. And I knew a lot of them. I really respected them. They were really outstanding people. So anyhow, you need the vote of the young people. Don't forget them. You're going to forget, leave a void there. Thank you.
Thank you. John, I just want to let you know, I was just reminded, we're bringing that recommendation forward tomorrow, actually. So we are requesting that. We're going to pass that tomorrow.
We're going to vote on what?
Raven.
I loved everything everyone had to say tonight, but what I did not like is everyone saying that we need to find someone to represent us. It's not about representing us anymore, because what we have to represent is not something that is good. You know, everyone here is awesome for showing up, but what I don't like is, even in my short lifespan, is that I found out there's tons of addicts and abusers, and there's greedy people that always want money. There's always someone that wants more money from our tribe. And what we're looking at is that everyone that it comes to council is representing us with everything that's happening. They're addicts, they're abusers, there's greedy for money, it's everything. And what I want to see is someone that's not going to represent us. I would like to see someone that would change us. And so I can't see it any longer. My dad, Ferdinand, was, in council, ruined him. Every single council member that comes here gets ruined and gets bad talked on Facebook, everywhere. And I just like to see someone finally come up here and change us instead of represent us. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got Ernie Williams.
Good evening. My name is Ernie Williams. My mother was Mary Marchand, the late Mary Marchand. All I want to say is thank everyone for showing up tonight. And yes, it is sad that Omak District, to the other council, for some reason, a lot of them are against Omak District, and it is the biggest district. Industry, everything happens over here because of 97 or railway. And it should happen over here. All the business should be in Omak, but everybody's jealous of it. But I want to thank the council, because I'll just say this from being past council. One thing you got to remember, whoever you vote for, you got to back them up. It's hard for this council right here, because I, for one, am pretty close to Snina, and I know this isn't about Snina, but I want to say my opinion in front of you guys that we're too eager to pass guilt on somebody before they're even found guilty or not guilty. I myself, as a leader, past leader, If it was any one of you guys, I can't believe it. I won't believe it. Until this man is found guilty, these guys can't pick or say he's guilty or anything. None of us can. That ain't our job to judge people. I feel sorry for the family, I really do. But I'm going to support him because he's one of my people until he's found guilty. I'd support any of you. And I feel ashamed of people that condemn people and find them guilty before they even tried. I commend him for resigning because in a way you look at it as he's guilty. I look at it that he didn't want it to be a tribal problem. He's a man, he's going to take it on himself, save his family, which probably means more to anybody here. But I'm not sticking up for anybody. But as a leader that you pick, they have got to love each and every one of you because we're all Indians and we're all different. Sometimes I can't stand the white education. I just can't sometimes. But we're a different people. We're a different nation. We function different than anybody else. And to be a leader for this tribe, like Mike said, I'm kind of in a support of old precedents that the next guy in line should take the spot. And I support Mike, I support Shirley, I support all our council. But the main thing you guys want to consider when you vote for a replacement, and I agree they have to have knowledge of what's going on. It's very important. Sovereignty, what Mike says, is what you're in there for, protecting and fighting for. But you want to pick, you got to pick somebody that cares about being an Indian. This is a nation of its own. And I want to thank this council for Ricky for showing up. This is a tough job. It is a tough job. And I disagree with staying at home. You got to go fight for them monies out there. If they don't see you, they're not going to give it to you. They'll give it to somebody else. And I will say this, if nominated, I would do a temp. But I know I could do the job, but these other ones that said that they could, I've worked with them, they can do the job. I'm not going to condemn anybody. But right now, I'm having a hard time, believing that he's guilty. I really do. And I'm not going to condemn him. I'm not going to think differently until he's proven guilty, and I hope to hell he's proven innocent because, like you said, so far the media, everybody's making this a bigger deal than I think it is, and I'm hoping it isn't that big. But anyway, I agree that you should pick a leader tonight and go support the council because these are your elected officials and get it done. Don't let somebody other district tell you how to run your district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. We've got one more speaker, Mandy.
Hello. I'm going to change the topic real quick. I brought these papers here. They are for the Housing and Urban Development. You're on our Community Development Committee, Mr. Marchand. I brought up the fact that in our HUD housing, there's registered sex offenders, more than one, and they're level 3. I was told to do procedure, write a letter, and send it to everybody. I don't want to do that. You guys, most of you guys know that these guys are living there and that the law is being broken. The rules are being broken. I have them here. And I don't understand why when I asked you guys to do something about it, you guys put it back to me and told me to write a letter. Because I went to you specifically for a reason. Yeah, see, and I tried to bring it an issue last week, and you guys didn't make it an issue. So, okay, fine. You guys want to talk about just Snina?
We're talking about elections. We're talking about trying to replace the vacancy.
Okay, you'll talk afterwards, please, because I have a bunch of other questions that need to be answered. The people that go tomorrow, like I work,
Yes.
are going to be in trouble because we're not at our job and going to this meeting.
administrative leave has to be granted for that. The executive director has the power to do that. You can make a request. We can't step in and make it okay.
Right. Okay, so if you have a meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning, are you gonna already have an administrative meeting for those people, or?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
I'm not fired when I come back Monday because I showed up for.
In every case, if you are absent from your job, you need to get prior approval from your supervisor to attend, to do anything. Yeah. At this point, I think we've heard a lot, and I think Edgar was going to make a motion here.
Yeah, I got my name in there first because I want to really make an issue here. What we're going to be deciding on is what we need for a certain period of time. And because it's a constitutional issue, I'm going to make that a nomination, Shirley Charlie take over that position. I damn well know I don't agree with her all the time. She'll tell you that. Her and I argue. But I feel she's the best person to pick because she'll speak up. She's voiceless, and that's what we need right now. Somebody to pick up our constitutional rights and tell those people what the hell we want over from our district. Because that's what the hell I do when I go over there. One of these people here will tell you that, and I'll argue with them. And when I go over there, I support you. And when I first come home in my retirement, my big issue then was, let's pull together as a team so we can get things done. Now my issue is, let's get the Constitution issue settled and hope to hell that they'll change the Constitution in favor of all of us. Thank you. But I nominate Shirley Charlie.
We're doing nominations. Sherry Muma. Mike Marchand. Oh, she wants to get the names of everybody that's nominating.
Mike Marchand. Are you nominating for this full term?
That is what we're asking. Full term, finish it out. Well, we need, before we go forward, I'll get to you, Hazel. Mike, do you accept the nomination? Shirley, do you accept the nomination? Sherry, do you accept the nomination? Yes. Hazel.
I'd like to nominate Ernie Williams.
Ernie Williams. Will you accept that nomination? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we vote to someone in for 5 months, and then when everybody's running this year, as Sherry recommended, that they will then have a year they'll be able to
So it sounds like we've got, you can respond, you've got a couple seconds to respond. However, we'll need to decide that because it sounds like there's a lot of people that want that to happen, and we'll go through each candidate and say, would you accept that as a part of your nomination as well? Well, accept it with this different condition because they are accepting it under a different condition. So, let's finish the nominations first. Are there other nominations?
I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to talk to Mike about it.
It's the powerhouse.
We've got one here. So we have two motions to close the nominations. There's seconds. 100th. So nominations are closed. So if the candidates could come up and sit up here. Like 5 minutes? 2? Yeah, that's right. Go ahead. Susan.
It's pretty much decided that should we take going?
Too late. Okay.
I just want to say that there's a lot of people that voted for the council member who we are trying to replace, and they're not here tonight. My children are some of those. You know, a lot of my family aren't here. We just got done doing a funeral. And, you know, I don't want somebody to, all of us here, to take their vote away from them. It's not fair that they can't vote also. Right. So.
But this is not about today's vote. It's a matter of appointment.
Which is nominations, which other people didn't get to say.
But you know what? My mom, tonight where she's at, she's over cleaning her mother's house. She ain't gonna come show up here. She's washing walls. She's doing everything that she's supposed to be doing.
You said your children.
Yeah, I'm saying my whole family.
She said family. Let her talk.
I'm saying that they're not here to vote, and everybody should get their chance to vote. If that's how it's gonna go, then everybody should.
There you go.
They don't have that luxury of opportunity or time.
And I just want to be clear with everybody in here too. I mean, so when we go through this election process, this is the person that we vote for that we're going to fight for tomorrow at that meeting.
Can I say something? Go ahead.
How do you guarantee we can get these guys in there for wasting our time?
There is no guarantee.
Did you have something to say?
Yeah.
Come on. You got a few minutes and then we're going to get to the candidates.
What I have to say about this is, you know, if we elect someone or we want to appoint someone, it's still out of our hands. It's here in the council. We have 4 people here. We don't know what way Ricky's going to vote. But even if we say we want to appoint one of these 4 people, it still is going to, it's out of our hands. And the lengthened appointment is still out of our hands because the Constitution and our bylaws state that the council can appoint someone for the term. The term, as Sherry pointed out, is 17 months. What we would need to do is provide a resolution through tribal government that says that we want to change that for this election. So what we're looking at right this moment of these 4 people is who do we want in there to fill the term till July of 2015. I know we want to have people here to vote, but again, it's not a matter of what we want. It would be great that it would happen, but the fact of the matter is, what we're going to do is try to get our voice heard by saying, okay, of these 4 people, these are who we are selecting, and have the council come in and vote. You know, if they've already appointed someone, we're kind of like screwed.
You need to have a plan B. This is your district. Your district has spoken tonight. The ones who care are here.
That's not
The ones
true.
who care about you came here to support you.
Just because people aren't here doesn't mean they don't care.
You
can't
have to
speak for
have one.
everybody.
You have to have the voice of the
This is just not a district meeting, like you said.
process is started.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it.
We've got a young man back here that had something to say. Richard, you had your hand up.
Here's my problem here. We got 4 great candidates. Yes. It doesn't mean squat tomorrow if we're already being handcuffed by Mike Finley and Billy Nicholson. Let's not forget, in the last year or 2, with this council, all we've seen for how many years? 11 to 3, 11 to 3, 11 to 3. Our district is screwed. That's the bottom point. It's always a Spelo, Inchland, Keller, handcuffing the Omak District. We don't have a voice if they already appointed Melton Askin. Because the guy who puts himself in a high chair, Mike Finley, is speaking for Omak. What are those four going to do? I mean, I can say so much about the four, but we gotta stand up against the Mike Finleys, the other districts.
Just a couple more comments. Kyle had his hand up. Pat had her hand up.
Kyle, I just doing quick counts here. If we vote tonight, we strip 80% of our members. We only got about 20% of our district here.
When they voted on that 1,033 people decided that.
That was horrible. That was horrible. That shouldn't have happened when that happened.
Let him finish his comments.
It won't do.
We're not going to. Pat.
There's always a choice. There's
You know,
always options.
many of you, you're not over there watching the council. You don't see how these councilmen have to interact with the other councilmen. What they're trying to do here tonight is follow the Constitution. So please remember that. And, you know, we have candidates here. In following the Constitution, they will be voted in for the remainder. That's following the Constitution. And I'm sorry that young man that was up here saying we go and we get a resolution to change that. You don't change the Constitution with a resolution. You don't know how the council functions. And that's so important. So we should be reminded of that.
My name is Riva Desatel, and I think everybody here is all going in the right direction. If we don't make a first step, if we listen to that one young gentleman just a little bit ago saying, well, we don't have a chance. If we don't stand up and start making a first step, we never will. I understand that we don't have most of the people here to vote. But if we don't go before that council, who, let me remind you, was voted in by the people. So where the people are the voice, and the people are the strength, and the people are the power. So you go over there, council members that we voted for, and you recommend these four people. And then you stand behind them, because you're the voice. This is what you want. And if the people that didn't make it here tonight, we should have our media informing them that this is what we wanted. And if they don't agree with it, they have a right and a voice to not agree with it too. But you always have to make that first step. And I think this is the right direction.
It's not in the Constitution. Do you want to ask that question to everybody, or are you just asking me? Well, we're about ready to vote. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, we've been having all this discussion. It's been a freaking dilemma. You know, I told you we haven't had a lot of sleep. We've talked to many of you. We've talked to a lot of people who aren't here tonight. Let's remember that we have some of our Omak District people that are burying their family. They're at their family services tonight. Some of us are, I mean, let's face it, many of us that are sitting in the audience right now are saying, these are the four candidates that we're going to vote on. This is the four candidates and this is what we're going to vote. Or tomorrow when we get to Omak, or we get to Nispilum, we're going to be told who is going to place our position, who's going to fill our position, who's going to represent us. We also have in back of our head in our discussion and our dilemma is that we wanted to have a special election. It's not in the Constitution. In the old Constitution, it was there. In the old Constitution, but it was amended, that the Caldwell Business Council will appoint any vacancy based on resignation, death, etc. One thing I do is I have studied the Constitution. That's why you see in my writings, constitutional reform. That's why these kind of meetings need to be filled like this so people can become more educated, because actually it's your voice that's being taken away. It's our voice even at the table with 14 people and 7 turning over every year. There's no stability. Another thing I wanted to point out too is that we vote on issues in Nispelem. We vote on issues that affect Inchalim, that affect Keller. All of us, when we get there, 14 members, we represent everybody. I am a big supporter of reservation-wide voting for that reason. This districtitis thing has to stop. So when we're up here saying, poor Omak, we've been silenced by everybody else, we got to stop this. We represent everybody. We have almost 10,000 members. So I wanted to make a point to everybody here tonight that you need to be active not only tonight. You need to help us tomorrow bring forward the decision that you have made today, even though that some of you may not agree. This is the process that's in place because this is the Constitution, and this is the only place that you're going to get a voice. So we need you to help us with this process. And I would like to recommend that each of the candidates only get like 3 minutes, and then we take a vote here tonight by a raise of hands, and we'll go around and count them, and then we'll tally them up, and you only get to vote once, and you have to be a tribal member from the Omak District to vote, to raise your hand. Unfortunately, I was taken aside a little while ago and said, told, this, if you're going to vote, you have to let only Omak District, and actually that's our responsibility to make sure that happens. I would love it that we would start recognizing that every Indian here lives here on this reservation, and that we care about each other, and that our families are across these districts, and that we might even be related to, oh my gosh, Spokane that lives on the reservation, or a Yakima or somebody else. Let's get by all this stuff. Let's start working together. Let's start being a united tribe. Let's move forward and let them talk for 3 minutes each.
I've been sitting here listening all night and being quiet, but the one thing that I haven't heard from some of the same people that are the loudest on Facebook and that are the loudest and always being negative and putting down the council is, what about the people that don't live on the reservation that aren't here to have a vote tonight? What about them? I mean, they have rights just like each and every one of us. I hear people say, well, I got a job, I can't make it to the district meetings. I personally don't think it's fair that this amount of people are going to decide who is recommended tomorrow. That's just my opinion. And you can ridicule me if you want, but I'm going to be upfront and honest with you. The decision that's made here tonight isn't necessarily the vote I'm going to make tomorrow. And if you want to scrutinize me for it, go ahead. But I'm honest, and I'm going to tell the truth, and that's how I feel. And so whatever happens tomorrow may not be what you see tonight. And as far as this other individual being promised a position, that is true. That is a fact. Now, I got 1 vote at that table tomorrow. He's got 1 vote. He's got 1 vote, and she's got 1 vote. It takes 7 to make it happen or not happen. So, I just want to make sure that you're clear, and whatever happens tonight doesn't promise you anything that's going to happen on the appointment tomorrow. And, it's just the way it is. It's a lot easier to sit out there and scrutinize, but these 4 people have been in this position, and it's a lot tougher right here than it is out there, because I was one of you too, and I will be someday. So I'm just being upfront, and that's my opinion.
So how are you going to vote then tomorrow?
I don't know how I'm going to vote. I don't know how I'm going to vote.
Well, if you're listening to people here, then why don't you say that?
I think, go ahead.
Before we vote, I just want to clarify, are we voting for the full term, the year and 5 months, or as Bay suggested, the 5 months, and then turn it all in again? So everybody
Hold on a second. So what you're saying is I hear you. What you're saying is it feels like it's really hasty. It's a quick decision, and it's.
So what we're all saying is that it needs to be done. I mean, I know because it's not there, we're going to appoint now, more than likely, right? And that's still getting voted on. The council's still going to vote on it.
Yes.
So don't waste our time right now.
No, we are not wasting our time right now. We're
proving a point. But at the same time, it's like
Stalling.
I would like to ask some of you in the audience to ask our seated council. So we have a special election. How long is that going to take? How long is 3 people going to be there trying to get our point across when a lot of times we already know that Omak is ignored? March 3rd, there's going to be another decision regarding one of our elected officials from Omak. March 11th is when the candidacy opens. So we will be running one election for the year in 5 months, paid by the tribe. We will be running another election side by side for John and Lynn's positions because they're up for re-election. So is Omak going to be stalemated and have no vote? That's the question from me, because I want our vote at that table. At least if they don't count our vote, they'll hear our voice.
And I think Shirley makes a good point, because that our back's against the wall right now, and we have to make a decision. We have to get a person in there that's going to be there to vote.
Shandy, I understand what you're saying. As I'm sitting back behind my aunties, I can hear everybody whispers. Same scenario. I tell my kids all the time, don't make drastic decisions when you're emotional, you're hurt. In our case, as a community, we're shocked. I hear every single one of your guys' voices. Do we feel comfortable with these guys? I can't speak for that. But what I'm hearing is that we're not comfortable making a decision tonight. So like I was up here earlier, I cut to the chase. I just want to step forward with one step with you guys. And that step is to go to the remainder of the council. Let them know they can't choose or appoint anybody for us. That's it. And then, if need be, then we can run motions to say, okay, Shirley, Ernie, Mike, whoever else we want. Sherry, excuse me. But on the same sense of an understanding, took a look around, looks to everybody next to you. Frustrated, mad. It's okay, it's all right to be mad. But understand the difference between being angry and mad from making a conscious, educated, the best decision we can do for our community. My opinion is we can put this on hold. And then have these guys, at least, we already know they're already elected or appointed Mel Sheldon or Mel Tenasket. But at least we can go and make the first step and tell them to stop it. Then we can bring these guys back up here. And give us time to get more district people here to vote. Give us time to have more of a voice, more of opinion. And if, in all honesty, I think they need to see this. If you guys are for electing these guys now, raise your hand. Okay? And if you're against it, stand up and raise your hand, because if you don't want to make that decision now, tonight, stand up and make your hand. Make some noise, because I can't hear you guys. But we got to make a decision on what we're going to do. We're going to send these council and stand behind them and try to stop appointment somebody else, or we're going to vote for these guys. That's plain and simple. You know, because I don't feel comfortable voting right now. You know, that's just my opinion. So, as far as I can tell, that's my opinion.
I would just like to recommend our council, current council here tonight, for being respectful, you know, and for the ones that we have selected here. But my question is, did Mel Tenasket accept? Yes. When he was asked, did he accept?
Yes.
Unfortunately, Rusty, when I talked to him, he said, I don't feel comfortable unless the Omak District feels comfortable with that. He felt that the same way the answers you heard from these four, he felt, you know, if chosen, I would do that. I mean, I feel uncomfortable feeling like I have to speak for him, but I know that he said that he wanted to make sure that the Omak District Council, as well as the district, had some understanding or agreement to that. You know, that's the way he felt very strongly about that. But
well, I know some are going to disagree with me, but you know, when you're in that council chambers and you see all of them interact, Mel is well known and he is well liked. And our councilmen, like someone pointed out, have really been blocked. Well, what I'm looking for is someone who can work with the other councilmen in the other districts, someone who will bring decisions to that table for the best for all of us tribal members. That's what I would like to see. So when you're looking at these candidates, I'm sorry to say I've seen them all in the council, and it's really, really hard to get them to work together and to get along and to negotiate and to come to agreement. So when you're voting, that's what I'd like you to look at. And I would like Mel considered.
I personally am really uncomfortable making a decision on the spur of the moment. I only volunteered because you need stability. And stability I can give you. I have every confidence in these three sitting right here. I have confidence in Mel. That's what I want, is stability. And I think it would be really worthwhile if we postponed this vote and waited to see what was said tomorrow. And if we can get this group to walk in the council, I'm quite sure you will be heard. I've seen it happen before on other issues of importance. When a crowd of tribal members come into that council, it's amazing what can happen. And you do turn the tide. So, my idea of only appointing for a short 4 to 5 months, it could be in violation of the Constitution. But I really want more people to have the right to vote. And if we are going to vote at a district meeting, and I have done it before for Eddie Palmatier, and it was right here in this same building, that he and I can't remember who else was running that day, but anyway, we voted him in right here in the gym. So it has been done before. But if we can get council to understand that this Omak district wishes to choose their own person, and give a week or two to get a huge district meeting put together so we can have more votes. I would feel a lot more comfortable with something like that. If not, I think tonight I would, that's something I would prefer. Thought.
Appreciate that, Sherry.
Thank you, John. My name is Michelle Smith, and I have been sitting here listening to everything. I do feel the same as Susan. I'd like to thank her because I have just come off the same status as she has and come from burying her grandmother this week. We are very emotional here in this audience, in this right now. I waited all night, and I finally heard Lynn say, we need to pull together as a tribe because those 14 members, we may vote districtitis, but the minute they take that oath of office, they speak for every one of you on how to spend your money, how to bring your reservation. What we need to do tomorrow is go and remind them, Nispilam, Keller, Inchalim, you work for us, and we will make it heard that you will let us take the time we need to pick our next council person for our district. I myself will not vote tonight. I can't make that decision. Rationally, I'm not going to make that decision for the people who are burying people today, yesterday, and maybe tomorrow. So we need to think about that. Out of due respect, we need to do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to add that we have an election department at the tribe and we should use it, you know. With these four candidates, just tell them, hey, Omak District has voted that we want our four candidates, we selected them, we want an election, and let's use our election department that we have the tribe and go ahead with an election. Everybody gets their say.
Thank you.
John?
Choose first and then.
What makes us think that the council can listen to us? We want to
Yes, that is true. And that is why, having this meeting, we want to put out all the options. We wanted to, this is very difficult, but we also need your voice and your thought and your hearts into this so that we can come to the best decision. Bringing hearts together, that's how we do this.
Hi, my name's Bill Muma. I think most of us here pretty much agree. Lynn put up here the number 3 up there, and I think we should just vote to delay and hold a full, meeting so that everybody that has a shot can
But in the
vote.
meantime, we lose that vote at the council table because we only have 3.
We may not get the casino because we don't have our 4th voice on there. And that's what Ms. Nicholson wants, is not for us to have the casino over here. And they already picked Mel. I mean, there's big issues there.
There are big issues, and that's the other thing that puts us behind the 8 ball, and that's the complete frustration. We got Vince first, and then you.
I would just like to share, you guys, what the consensus I'm hearing, this is my opinion, is we have 4 previous council people that are interested, people that are willing to support it. And what Omak is actually trying, we don't want an appointment at that meeting tomorrow. Regardless what we want, the council's going to move tomorrow because it's the Constitution. I recommend that these 4 be at that meeting tomorrow. And I already said my support of Mel, and I know Mel would go with this. Put them all on the ballot for the 14 members of the council to vote for. Because what we say, we just don't want the council to appoint somebody. We want people nominated for that position. We can nominate them tomorrow and say, okay, 14, go in there and out of all our nominations, vote. Because it's going to happen tomorrow whether we like it or not.
I have one question. Why can't we utilize our referendum vote? Why can't we have a special election in cases like this? We've got the 4 nominees there. Tell them tomorrow these are the ones nominated that Omak wants to vote on. What happened to our referendum voting privileges? Send them out, let everybody vote. But you're letting the council vote? Is that what I'm understanding? We nominate and they vote.
The Constitution dictates the council votes on it. Yes, just to address